Do you ever wonder why natural selection chose sex? This whole theme of this, everything I say has to do with natural selection. This is selected for, this is selected against. The natural environment will select the most efficient way to get something done. And sexual reproduction, at first glance, seems like it should be an evolutionary loser. Think about all the problems that go with sexual reproduction. And I'm not talking about your social lives here. I'm talking about biology. Think about this. First thing, you got a chromosome problem, okay? And that's what we're going to spend a lot of time talking about. But forget about that. Then you got to make a special group of cells. Then you got to get one cell to the other, all right? And in order to get that cell to the other, you have to evolve all these behaviors constantly in competition with each other. And, what dance do I need to do? What? And then you got to care for your young. Asexual reproduction seems to be a lot simpler. Think about it. Asexual reproduction, reproduction without sex. All right, binary fission in bacteria. How simple is that? 1, 2. No mating rituals. You don't have to go out and buy clothes and impress people and take them out to dinner. It's very simple. And even some more advanced organisms do asexual reproduction. Corals. You ever been on a coral reef? Now, corals reproduce both sexually and asexually. But the bottom line is corals and creatures of their ilk, if this is a coral polyp, okay, reproduce asexually by a thing called budding. And what they in essence do is they make an asexual offspring that grows off of their side, like so, and eventually forms a brand new organism. And that's the way a reef forms. And they'll build this calcium carbonate skeleton around their outside, and you have a coral reef. Plants, okay, yes, plants do sexual reproduction, but many of them can do asexual reproduction. You've heard of spores. You've heard of, many of you have taken cuttings, where you cut a piece of plant, you throw it in the ground, and you get a new plant. How simple is that? So why then has sexual selection or sexual reproduction been selected for? And the answer to that is, remember one thing. Variety is the spice of evolution. You see, the point here is this. Darwin's theory of natural selection stated some very elegantly simple context, and that was 1, there's a whole lot of offspring born, and 2, there are varieties in these offspring, and the varieties compete. And competition isn't necessarily, that's my hamburger, get out of the way. Competition can be fleeing from a predator. Speed. Competition can be having a variation that allows you to hide from a predator. Competition can mean a lot of different things. So the key here is sex has been selected for, at least we can say this generically, sex has been selected for because variety is selected for. And sexual reproduction produces new combinations of genes, therefore variety. In other words, it comes down to this. It comes down to the fact that a female, symbol for female, crossed with a male, symbol for male, will share genes. And you get a mixing of the genes. You get what are called recombinants or recombinations. And in these recombinants or these recombinations, you're going to get new variety. And in getting new variety, you're going to have different levels of fitness. Not fitness as in physical fitness, but fitness as in natural selection. And some will be more fit in this environment, but guess what? If the environment changes, other ones may be more fit, and if it doesn't change, well, they had their time on the planet. So the bottom line is, it seems that sexual reproduction is probably here to stay. But there's some problems associated with sexual reproduction. And I don't want to talk about all those social things, like courtship rituals. That's another day. I want to talk chromosomes. Chromosomes. Back to asexual reproduction. Cell reproduction with mitosis was easy. Think about it. You have, all right, here's a typical human cell going through mitosis. 46 chromosomes. Doubled, split. 46 daughter cells. Now you got 2 nice skin cells. But now all of a sudden, we're going to have a problem. And the problem is this. If we want to come up with a new group of cells called gametes, sex cells, we can't have those gametes just like the daughter cells produced by mitosis. Can we? Now, again, if you go back in the fossil record, mitosis has been around as long as cells have been around. But it doesn't work for sex. Why not? Well, let's see why not. It's a simple case of numbers. Give me a cell right here with 46, and let's turn it into a sperm and an egg that are going to fertilize and form a zygote. Now, this is you, okay? A normal human being with 46 chromosomes. All right? Now, let's just say this person is going to now, instead of making regular old, what we're going to call somatic or body cells, is going to make gametes. And this happens to be a male person, and he's going to make 46. Well, are you starting to see the problem? Let me show you. If this is dad, and this is mom, and we're assuming mom's going to have being in the same species is going to have the same number of chromosomes, and she's going to make eggs with 46 guys, we got a problem here. Because think about it. Sperm meeting egg. 92? 92? That's not human. That's not going to happen. Okay? And so we come to a new process. So sexual reproduction needs a new process. And I know you know about mitosis, and please don't forget your mitosis lessons. Because, you know, a second ago I said to you, mitosis came first. Well, guess what? This next process is a wrinkle on mitosis. It's a new wrinkle on mitosis. So what we need is we need not to do a duplicative division as mitosis did. We need a different kind of division. We need a reductive division. When we start to make gametes, we need to reduce. So we need to take a body cell, a somatic cell. Soma means body. A somatic cell. And we need to take that somatic cell and turn it into a gamete. And in doing this, we need to reduce the number of chromosomes. During this process, we need to half the number of chromosomes. Because that's what it's going to come down to. Forget all the stuff about genes, forget everything, the DNA. The bottom line is it's all wrapped up in chromosomes anyway. So when we're talking about chromosomes, we're talking about DNA and genes. So we literally have to go from 46 to cells with 23 each. So that when dad makes those sperm and mom makes that egg, we can now reunite these or recombine these into a zygote with 46. That's what we have to do. I'm going to lay some vocabulary on you here. So let's look at this in summary, and then we'll take a look at the body plan or the plan for meiosis, because that's what we're going to be talking about. Here's what we were talking about. We need to go from a case where they're somatic, and is sometimes referred to, if we talk about the chromosome number, we're going to say that that is diploid. You see the word di there. You'll see why we say that in a second. To a gamete. A gamete we refer to as haploid. Now, that's nice, but aren't those just more words? And the answer is, yep. Okay, but one more thing. Let's take a look at the chromosome number, and we'll make it make perfect sense. If I refer to the haploid number of chromosomes as N, what would the diploid number be? Well, that's N, and remember, we went from full to half. N, this must be 2N. So whether you're a human with your 2N equaling 46, or a potato, potatoes are creatures too. You know what? Potatoes have more chromosomes than you guys. How do you like that? Okay, you have to go from the diploid to the haploid in order to do sex. Well, how's this all going to work? Well, let's take a look at a quick overview. And we're going to call it meiosis, where we are literally going to take a cell, double those chromosomes, and end up going from a cell with the diploid number to cells with the haploid number. In this case, a cell with 2 to 4 cells with 1. Does that sound complicated? If you got meiosis, or if you have mitosis, meiosis is going to be nothing.